On this episode of We're No Damn Experts, we share a beer with the Mountain Man at Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company.
Best damn podcast, the best damn town. You wanna get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you wanna go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
And I'm Maricela Hazard.
And we're No Damn Experts. Here on episode 39? Something. It doesn't matter what episode this is. It is an episode that we have been planning for quite a long time. So we're very excited. We are more than elated to be where we are with a man I used to be a colleague with.
Used to work in the mountains?
Yeah. We used to be mountain men together. The gentleman who has created a new empire around barley, everybody's favorite crop in the world, and someone who's had to answer 1,000 times at a trade show, is your name really Jeremiah Johnson?
And it is.
It is.
Yeah.
And you own Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company here in the heart of Montana, Great Falls.
And I want this audio, just so everyone knows.
We're sampling beer today.
Yes, and if by sampling you mean a cold beer on a hot summer day, yes, we are sampling.
So we're not sipping. Just be prepared for that. For those of you that are looking at any of the video content that we captured with this podcast, you can see how many cans that will cycle through this brewery in less than a month.
They're empty. We drank them all
already. And they're going to get cleaned up and reused. So you're welcome.
And again, we're No Damn Experts. So we brought all of our equipment here in the brewery, set it up, and then we had one failed cord for power. And then I couldn't get the audio into the computer. So we're using an iPhone, but Jason wasn't here, the audio engineer. So sorry, Jason, while you're listening to this, but hey, we're at a brewery.
You're making do.
We're not canceling this episode because we want to hear all about why you got into brewing beer, how you brew the beer, why you brew the beer, who buys the beer, who drinks the beer. So let's talk about beer.
Yeah, it sounds great to me.
How long have you been in this game, this beer game?
You know, I ended up in the beer game in probably the most insane way I think it could ever happen for someone. Most brewery owners I run across started by brewing beer. I did not. I started in here. I took over as general manager of a former company called the Front Brewing Company. First few days of January in 2017.
That long ago.
All started then.
That wasn't that long ago, really, in all reality.
No.
Because you have to take 2020 out. But 2020, I've always said people drink beer when they're happy, and they drink more beer when they're sad.
Well, we prefer to sell beer to people who are happy, but I think that's true.
What you want to sell beer. So.
Yeah, we want to sell beer either way. And we saw that in the pandemic. I mean, I had my 48 to 72 hours of absolute panic that what's going to happen. And then orders just started coming in for more canned beer than we'd ever sold. So we were fortunate to
a little bit of a
shift
that. From kegs to cans then?
Well, I mean, for us, we were positioned well. We were already 75% cans, 25% kegs at that time. And so really what happened was can sales increased. Keg sales actually went to zero for some time. But the increased can sales made up for it. We had some obstacles along the way. We were able to navigate those obstacles. And then when the pandemic started to subside, I should say, our keg sales skyrocketed. So now we're just on this awesome trajectory.
So you have this production brewery in downtown Great Falls where we are today.
Yep.
But you don't have a typical tap room.
No. And, you know, I wish at times I did. But, and it's one of those things where nearly every day someone pulls up and walks into my office and I can just see the look on their face. They're looking for a tap room. And they're like, what is this guy doing back here? You know, I got paperwork and, you know,
doing the business side of beer.
Figuring out bills, and they're looking in here. No, this is a production brewery. And there's something really cool about that is that we get to just focus on making beer here. And it's awesome. I mean, it's a legitimate manufacturing operation.
Well, we are the people that explain your beer to people,
Yeah.
you know, the visitors. So you don't have to deal with the people walking in your office randomly. We have that.
Yeah.
Okay? And when people come in, like say from Wisconsin, where I am from,
Yeah.
and I like, hey, where are you coming from? And they think I'm making conversation. Actually, I'm tracking data.
In a kind way.
In a kind way. I do care. I want to make conversation. So when they say they're from Wisconsin, I then follow up with, so do you like beer then? And normally the answer is yes. So then we're able to talk about the breweries in town, you being one of them.
Yeah.
And I tell them, hey, this is where you can go get it.
Yeah.
The MT Pints is
Yep.
Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company official tap
That's
room.
our official tap room. Yep.
But you can drink Jeremiah Johnson beer
And in 10 states it's sold, right?
pretty much anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, well, not anywhere, but that's been the fun part. You know, my real passion here is, you know, don't get me wrong. And Rebecca knows this. We've had a couple beers in our life together. I love beer. I love craft beer. I love everything it really stands for. But my passion is building the business, and that's where I get up every day and have the energy to come in here and do all the crazy things it takes. But one of our big successes, I'd say, is that we're actually 3 years into the Jeremiah Johnson brand as of this August, and you can buy our beer in 10 states now, which, you know, is almost hard for me to believe.
And that's a major feat. It's not like you just decide one day, hey, I'm going to sell in Idaho, or I'm going to sell.
Because what? Someone has to buy it.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
and it's a controlled substance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you can just sell through Amazon.
No,
I
there's
There's some rules.
there's a lot of legalities. You know, we have to be licensed in every state. You know, sometimes that's a lot of work. Sometimes it's not. There's certain states where it's frankly quite easy. There's other states where you want to rip your hair out. But yeah, I mean, just the opportunity to get our brand in front of so many people and have so many people interested in it has been kind of the validating thing that keeps myself, and I should mention my wife too. She's my co-owner in this enterprise. And Katie.
Saw her at Albertsons the other week,
Yeah.
and I wanted to say hi, but I didn't think she'd remember me.
Oh.
I wanted to say I was the crazy woman behind the camera taking the photos of the crazy family, your family, which was crazy having Tracy's breakfast for the winter.
Oh, I do
yes,
remember
for
that.
Oh, shoot. So,
Yeah, you get involved in tourism, and then you get involved in
like,
tourism.
roped in.
There
Yeah.
are things when you think, oh, I'm going to be a member of this group, I'm going to support their efforts, and then we say, hey, would you like to come have breakfast on us out in the middle of 40-degree below zero weather? And they say yes. I'm still not quite sure why anybody continues to be connected to us. But
I don't know
they do.
either.
I'm happy to do really anything that helps Great Falls. I'm not from Great Falls. My wife is. I moved here in 2010.
Okay.
My wife and I moved from La Jolla, California, a real hoity-toity place that we enjoyed a great deal when we didn't have any real responsibility in our life. And we moved here, and it totally changed my life. I just was able to get so much more connected in the business world.
Okay.
And there's no way in the world that I'd be sitting here talking to you guys today about my growing beer brand, production beer brand, had I not made that move to Great Falls. It was the connections and the job that I ended up with and just the access to the business community that kind of positioned me to where someone would even consider me a potential buyer for their production brewery. Like,
Oh.
Yeah. We've heard, Kristen, who was our sales manager, even you've kind of seen it a little bit, but you get to Great Falls and the arms open up wide and you are enveloped into this community, whether you like it or not. And you start to make those connections. You start to see people on a daily basis, and then you are able to just kind of make those calls to other leaders and say, hey, Mayor Kelly, we'd like you to do a video. And he's like, sure, when, where? Or one of my favorite requests, we had a gentleman, Matt, who listened to the podcast, send us his book and tell us he's now interested in relocating to Great Falls. He's from a small community in North Carolina. I'm like, perfect, let's get you connected. Called Mayor Kelly, said, hey, Mayor, will you give this guy a call? Make sure he's welcomed. Mayor went above and beyond, ended up flying into North Carolina to visit friends and family, and then went and had coffee with this guy.
Yeah,
That's the kind of stuff that happens in Great Falls.
it is unique.
Very unique. Rebecca's mentioned this twice. I've asked the mayor to do a video for BMW page.
Yeah. Oh, bless you.
Excuse me. And I never got it. Not because it was a failure on his part, but because I was slammed that week. And I just didn't have time to get it. But knowing that he said any time, but all the time was busy on my end.
Yeah.
So I dropped the ball on that one.
So maybe we'll edit that part out. Because Monty doesn't fail very often. So
I don't consider it a fail.
too much to do in the time allotted.
So
Yeah.
I prioritized in a Facebook post on a page where most of the people were already here because I thought, oh, Government's going to get here on Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, they were showing up on Saturday.
Oh.
So yeah, that's my misread of the room of this situation. Learned a lot of things this past week.
So you not only have the production brewery,
Yeah.
you got other things going on.
Yeah. Yep. We have a bar in Idaho, and we're opening another brewery in another part of Montana this year, hopefully. But, I'm trying to diversify my interests somewhat here. I'm trying to
Make licorice.
we haven't thought about licorice per se, but we've had some ideas. We have a canning operation. And, we've definitely thought, what else can we do?
What else can we can?
What else can we can? I mean, barbecue
Cans.
sauce. You can can barbecue sauce.
Well, and that would fit with you real well. And
Coffee.
That brand.
Anything.
You could can salmon,
Yeah.
canned fish.
It's like, yeah, I guess. You guys are really bringing a lot of great ideas to the table.
None of which will be used.
None. I was in Billings earlier this year and at a brewery, and there was a table behind me and they were talking about your beer.
Oh.
And it was shortly after the video that we took for winter. So I just met you in person.
Okay.
And I wanted to be like, I know him.
Oh.
I didn't have the elf reaction of like, I know him. I could have. But I would have been awesome to say, did you know that he's also selling canned salmon in the same beer?
I don't want to get off track here, but I watched the Foods That Built America on the History Channel.
I love that show.
I don't know. I think it's because I'm in beer manufacturing. I watch that and I get so pumped up because the risk taking that happened back then was nuts.
And it's food that didn't exist.
Yeah. No.
And they're like, I'm going to create an entire market. We could nerd out about this all day, but I'm going to create an entire market segment on something that doesn't even exist today.
Yeah.
It was, I love that show.
I mean, the stats years ago, I remember this in high school or middle school, and the teachers are saying, this generation, you're going to have jobs that don't exist right now.
Yeah.
Like there are going to be jobs.
Yeah.
And then my title, content director, that didn't exist.
There was no such thing.
Yeah.
So food too.
Yeah.
So where is your salmon beer infused
I don't know.
segment?
That's a bit much.
The good fortune we have is that we're betting big on beer. It's been it's the drink of the world essentially, and has been forever. And in Great Falls, you kind of got all the pieces to make really high quality beer. And so we do joke around and think about other product lines that we can mess with. But, our core business, it is the beer.
Yeah.
And I think...
So talk to us about some of your ingredients, because one of the things we tell people, and they don't get as excited about this as we do, but it's the most local beer you can drink.
Yeah. I mean, and local's big in anything, whether it's, barbecue or beer. People want to support local. And so, we are a regional brand. That being said, we have this awesome opportunity here in Great Falls where, little known fact, I think, but we're in the heart of barley country. I mean, this is known as the Golden Triangle. And we happen to have a malting plant here in town, just, on the edge of town here in Great Falls. And it's a massive operation. They're the most technologically advanced malting plant in North America. They're called Malt Europe. They have plants all over the world. But they actually get the barley from right here in this Great Falls region. And, as far as we're concerned, it's the best barley malt being produced in the world. And it's being produced 4 miles away from our beer plant. We know all the guys that work up there. They truck it down to us, and we're making that beer. I mean, that same barley malt is literally traveling across the United States to other breweries. We're getting it right here in the spot where the barley grew. So
yeah.
That's a big deal.
And you use the water from the Missouri River?
Yeah.
And when we have the trade show, I was telling everyone about your local ingredients. And he uses the water from the Missouri River, doesn't filter it, anything. That's why it's going to taste different every can. You got to try them all. And they're looking at me like, I'm kidding. Half of it's filtered.
Yeah, no, we're, actually, yeah, it's just, we use the water right here from the city of Great Falls that comes from the headwaters of the Missouri. And, I don't dive deep into water analysis myself, but I've been told, and I happen to believe it from just my own tasting experience, that it produces damn fine ale.
Yeah.
It does.
So you've also, with the brand, demystified a lot of the drinking for us. So we don't have to try and figure out what, I'll use a competitor's name, bong water, actual beer is. You've taken it down to the basics, and so your beer, other than a few of the things you make, just say what it is. Yeah,
that's our strategy. Keep it simple. I don't remember who told me that a long time ago, but that always has resonated with me. When we entered the marketplace, it was a zoo of colors and names and crazy cans, and I like all that, all the design work as well. But what I felt like was when I would go into, our larger format stores, you're talking your supermarkets, I would go to the craft beer section, and for one, personally, I had a hard time figuring out what to buy. And I started observing other people, and I noticed that people would go back and forth and back and forth.
You're probably looking at me, because I will spend 15 minutes looking at what's behind.
Well, you're constantly in the can trying to figure out, is this a pale ale? Is this a
double
IPA?
What's the alcohol percentage? I need to
Scotch ale. What am I drinking?
Exactly.
The name's cool, but...
So we just wanted to make it easy for people, and I liked a clean look. We wanted our brand to look authentic and genuine, and like it could stand the test of time. You guys know this. Big beer companies change their can all the time, maybe every year sometimes. I want to create a look for our brand that just can last. Now, we may make minor adjustments to it, but we were one of the first to come out with the white cans. I believe we were in the market before White Claw. And so we came out with the white cans, and a really clean font just tells you, boom, Jeremiah Johnson. We went with the brand first because our goal was to build the brand of the whole lineup. And then it's blonde ale. We're not trying to fool anyone. That's what it is. Or Hazy IPA, which is a big one now. Or, Mountain Man, we kept that name because we had it trademarked, and that's kind of a brand in itself. But
is it true if you have Mountain Man, you'll instantly grow hair on your chest?
I mean, yes. I didn't have a beard when I started, so.
So Mountain Man was like the one beer
oh yeah,
that when Jeremiah took over this operation,
yeah,
kind of everybody knew.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to try and drink it. And I, open the can and I'd take a sip. I'm like, I'm just not man enough. And I've told that many a time. So I gave it to my husband. I'm like, here, like, you're obviously more man than I am. And he's like, ugh, I can't do it.
It's okay. So, Robert doesn't have a beard. So
yeah. Well, if he started giving it a chance, he'd probably sprout that beard. So yeah, Mountain Man, I mean, my interest in this asset that I found myself managing was, wow, there's infrastructure here to really grow quite quickly. And there's also this really cool beer that's got this cult-like following at this point. This is in 2017. Great beer. And so that was kind of I'm like, once I found out that trademark was in place, I was all in. Because I'm like, I can take that somewhere.
Leverage it. Yeah.
And it's, that beer, Scotch ale, and I don't want to but sometimes that name, Scotch ale, like to someone who hasn't had one before, they're like, oh, Scotch, I don't know. I don't want that. It's Scotch to me, it's harsh.
Yeah.
But it's a malty, chocolatey, coffee. Smooth as silk beer.
Yeah.
Little bit of cherry smoke in there, and we use honey, and that lightens up the actual body of the beer. And
honey, local.
Right? Local honey, yep.
Now, I think one of my most favorite stories about the honey, Smoot Honey is your honey provider.
Yep.
The fine people that own Smoot Honey, their honey is also in what is the Golden Bobcat.
Yep.
They're Grizz fans.
Oh.
Well.
So they have to get excited about Golden Bobcat because their honey is in this beer.
Yeah. My wife's a Grizz too, so.
Yeah.
But we're Bobcats and Grizz. That's how we feel. I'm a Bobcat.
By trade.
Okay.
Yeah. Marketing.
Yeah.
Bachelor degree somehow.
Because that's what everybody does.
Yeah, that was the easy. My friends all were in finance and I was in marketing. That's how it happened. I don't know. Yeah, the Scotch ale, Mountain Man, that beer just is a beer that people, once they have it, they love it. And it sells every season of the year. People sometimes think it's just a winter beer. No. We sell more of it in the summer, honestly.
All year long.
All
and
day.
I see your social channels are just filtered with people taking your beer, doing outdoor Montana stuff.
I love your Instagram feed. At Jeremiah Johnson.
That's good.
Brewing. What is it?
At Jeremiah Johnson Brewing.
Okay.
Yep. We are social media novices. First of all, I'm in my 40s, mid 40s. And so I'm just a little bit past where I adopted social media just in my personal life. And we don't have a social media manager on this team. So we've done it ourselves. And oftentimes we're like, man, we really need to hire someone who could really feel this and know I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time. But I've come to believe this, that when it comes to social media, we can have all the created content we want, but we need to be genuine. Yeah. And if we're genuine, that's what grows it. So we're actually just starting kind of a revamp of it where we want to be very much more me in front of people and tell our story, tell people what it's really like to do this.
And you're getting a new launch or new
website.
And
yeah,
it's going to be aired in a few days. So by the time this is
week or two, it's in my hands, and I have to prove some things, but I have some very accomplished help putting it together. It's going to look great. You're going to be able to buy more and more of our swag, and it's going to tell a little bit more of our story and show more of our team and what we're about.
It's nice having a quality team that just makes things happen.
Well, Great Falls, that's
yeah.
The question I probably get just from business people the most is what, right now I think everybody in the U.S. is kind of facing this employment, like where can we get staff, and why are people not wanting to work, which it is hard for me to kind of wrap my head around that. But in Great Falls, we have had such great success hiring in this facility that it's actually given me the ability to go do what I'm best at, which is to grow the company. My time is not best spent on the canning line.
Or on the forklift, as which we saw.
Or running over things in the forklift. My time's best spent out selling the brand, telling our story. And in Great Falls, I mean, you've got a workforce here that knows how to work. And I mean, it's actually been one of the greatest joys of this is just seeing the crew who work here and seeing how committed they are to it. And, I know that doesn't happen everywhere. I know you can't find people like this everywhere.
No, that is so true. So I'm going to ask some non-technical questions. We're here with just a bunch of cans that we've already emptied.
Yep.
Some of them are dented.
Yeah.
Is that an issue?
Not really. I mean, so a pallet, what you can see here if you're watching, each stack is a pallet of 8,671 cans or something around that number. And you're going to have on the exterior of the can, they ship, you ship a whole semi-load of these at once, and you get 25 of these pallets stacked up there. You're going to have minor denting on the exterior cans. Minor dents are just going to come right out as soon as you fill them. You do get a few lost, but it really in the scope. I mean, we're probably sitting in a room with 600,000-700,000 cans around us. I mean,
drink them all.
I don't know. There's not many that
it is warm.
We won't use.
Degrees.
We try to keep our loss minimal. There is loss in manufacturing.
You don't want to keep it minimal, but we try to get
we do, and we've as a company. I mean, I remember starting out. I literally did not know how to do anything. I did not know how anything in this building worked. And
so you took over a beer plant.
Yeah.
And all you knew was how to drink it.
Yes.
And that's a good start.
It's a great start. Start.
We took over a beer plant. We had, at the time, 6 distribution contracts, all in Montana. Actually, the day I took it over, there's beer in process in the tanks. And I didn't know how to do anything. So I got a few guys off the street, essentially. One of those guys actually, 2 of the guys I hired at first are still with me today, and they're key guys for what we do. One had no experience whatsoever with beer. He was a concrete worker, but he had a work ethic, and now that guy knows how to do everything in a brewery. And frankly, on certain days could probably run the whole thing by himself.
Oh.
I mean, he's that kind of guy.
That's pretty sweet.
So no, we didn't know how to do anything. We learned along the way, but early on, we'd have, I just think about how far we've come. Like, we'd have all this loss, and then we started getting better that second year, that third year, and now I look back and go, oh my God, look at all the money that we now save. That we didn't realize we were losing that much.
Right.
I mean, we used to fill up bags and bags and bags of crushed cans coming through the line, and we'd spill beer and
Spill beer.
You know.
With the air quotes.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry, boss. We spilt another case.
Case.
Yeah.
We've had to learn it all, and we still have a lot to learn. But heck, I'd put our squad up against anybody right now. Like, these guys can really make beer, and we're getting it out there in a big way.
And there's a big difference between like a small brewery and a big brewery in Montana. There's different levels of how many barrels are produced.
Yeah.
Where do you fall in that spectrum?
So, yeah, last year we were just shy of about 8,000 barrels, which puts us right there in the top 5 about. But we're up 48% this year from last year.
It's a lot of beer drinkers.
Yeah, and that was through May. I'm sorry, not March, May. And then June, we just are kind of closing out June now. We just had our biggest month by quite a bit to date. So we're kind of really interested to see where we'll level off here this year. But I'm anticipating that by the end of the year, we'll maintain at least a 35% growth from last year.
Wow.
We've done all the plumbing work to add 4 more 60-barrel tanks. We have 11 60-barrel tanks right now, so we'll be 15 60-barrel tanks. And the easy math is that I just am going to use the assumption that I'm going to turn each tank twice a month. I can really turn them a little bit more than that, but just twice a month. And so, that's 16 60-barrel tanks, turned twice every month. You can do the math. We can get up there to about 16,000 barrels here real quick.
Wow.
Well, we have a lot of beer to drink and a lot of people to tell about, because can you list all the states your beer?
Of course.
Because I want to contact that state directly. I don't know how I would, just the
Well,
governor.
here's the thing. We've got a lot of guests who listen to our podcast from across the world.
And we found that out a lot this last week, where people would come to our office and they're like, we're listening to the podcast, and multiple
awesome.
times.
And I'm like, okay, well then I'm Rebecca Ingham.
And I'm Maricela Hazard.
You guys, I mean, I don't know. The sky's the limit for you guys. I mean,
well, we're not the number 10 or number 1 in 10 states. We're not, we
Right.
just got one
in Montana.
We'll
But
get
if
there.
you live in one of these other states, here's the thing. You can go to a grocery store today and drink beer that was made in Great Falls.
In the can that you might be here now. And then you can just crack it open and listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
So where are you at? What states are you in?
So Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Washington, Greater Las Vegas.
Oh.
Okay. Then we're in North Dakota, South Dakota, Kentucky, Indiana, and the state of Ohio.
Oh.
So somewhat surrounded by us, and then you throw Kentucky in there.
Yeah, we, some of the growth in these other states has happened because we were really fortunate to form a partnership with a restaurant group that has restaurants in a lot of those states. And so, we utilize that as a door opener to get in and get a distribution agreement done. And then, the plan with that is, hey, you're distributing this beer into these restaurants for us. Why don't you try our other beers? See what you think of that. See what you think of those beers. And really the resounding feedback we've got is like, oh, these are
good beer.
These are great beers. Let's get it going. So we're kind of in that process right now where we're getting more and more cans out. And, you want to be careful not to be a mile wide and an inch deep. Another guy in the beer industry told me that at one point. On the flip side of that, you got to strike while the iron's hot. And so we're actually working on 2 other states right now, having discussions with going into those 2 states. And I'm putting the pieces together on the production side to make sure that I can make enough beer to go as far as we want to go.
Well, I can't wait till we stop recording. You can give us a hint at those 2.
Yeah.
We can keep secrets.
Okay.
We've proven that time and time again.
But earlier, when we were doing the short tour of the brewery, because we wanted to get this thing kicked off because that meant we would have a beer, we were talking to Jeremiah about how we can do guerrilla marketing and infiltrate all the other states. So maybe if you're a late listener to the podcast and are not listening it to this year, maybe in the year 2022, you're going to buy a 6-pack from your local grocery store in a different state, and you're going to look at what's the official terminology?
Pack tech.
Pack tech.
Pack tech. These are made with recycled plastic.
So it's the old 6-pack ring, the plastic 6-pack ring that
completely covers the top of the can. On the underside of it, we're going to put some marketing about visiting Great Falls. Maybe do some giveaways, like win a trip to Great Falls, get an exclusive tour of the brewery.
Maybe make beer.
Just drink it.
Yeah.
I want them to earn that beer.
It's tough. What that Austin, you said, Works is doing out there, he's busy. I don't want to interfere with his well-oiled machine. But we're eventually going to be marketing to all these places, tell them to come here, because if they like the beer, they'll love the people, love the Missouri River,
love Great
Marley.
Falls.
And, Golden Triangle, one of the top 50 places to see in your life, according to New York Times.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
And you put the triangle on your beer cans.
Yeah. We hopefully people find our branding thoughtful, and we wanted to talk about both the state of Montana and then also specifically Great Falls. So if you look on the front of our cans, if you're
brewed in Montana,
we got that red heritage badge, and it says brewed in Montana, and then it says Great Falls, and I've come to really love that piece of our brand. If you look at some of the big beer companies over time, you'll often find they have a red heritage band of some kind.
Yeah.
And so it really plays into the historical significance of beer. But, we give you the coordinates of where we are. And then on the back, that's what we call our Golden Triangle lockup. And what we're just trying to say there is, like, we're proudly brewed in Great Falls. And then hopefully someone will say, well, what's the triangle mean? And the triangle is just a geographic, geographic boundary, essentially, that is, in agriculture terms, is known as the Golden Triangle.
In Montana Brewfest terms, you're number 1 and number 2, gold and silver?
Well, gold, silver, and bronze. But that's, they do them by different beer categories. So
in the gold...
But most all of your beer has won.
Yeah.
Mountain Man's award winning.
Yep. Yeah, so in the Montana Brewfest, which is a certified judged event, there's only 2 certified judging events in the state of Montana.
And Great Falls has one of them.
Yeah, and don't ask me what the other one is. I think it's Missoula, and I think I won a gold there a few years ago. But, we could enter 3 beers. We're allowed to enter 3 beers. That's always a tough call. What are you going to do? But our Honeyweissen's been just crushing. Like, the sales have been so strong on it. Our Mountain Man, of course, everyone knows that. We had to get that in there. To win in the Scotch category in Montana is obviously meaningful. We've got some big boys out there.
Yes,
and
we
some
do.
ones that are bigger than us. And then Hazy IPA. I don't know how much you guys get down with Hazy IPA, but, my motto is Hazy IPA all day.
Oh,
all day Hazy IPA. I don't know.
It don't matter.
It's what the kids are drinking. It's 3-to-1 ratio in the 2 bars that we're working with. That's the top seller, 3-to-1 to number 2.
Oh.
So we sell 3 kegs of Hazy IPA to every 1 keg of Citra IPA. I mean, we're flying through these Hazy IPA kegs like you can't believe.
What is a Hazy IPA versus just a regular IPA?
So
some people...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. They're lower in bitterness. They tend to be juicier, fruitier, maybe more approachable than a standard West Coast IPA to just your everyday drinker who's not a craft enthusiast. We use a different yeast. So we use what's called a London Ale 3. Don't ask me specifics there, but
You kind of
We
gave
wouldn't
a
know how.
lot. So,
yeah, well, that's as specific as I'm going to get. We can bring Austin here. He can talk to you all day about that. But it's an unfiltered beer. It uses wheat and oats to create that haziness that everyone's looking for these days. And then in ours, we're using pineapple. We're using an organic pineapple puree that we obtained from fruit company, Oregon Fruit Products. And they don't have pineapple in Montana. Otherwise,
It's okay.
we'd use Great Falls pineapple
We
if they had
understand
it.
that.
I don't think you're going to want to use Great Falls pineapple in your
We're well
beer.
aware there are other places in the world. That's where people are coming to visit from. So we'll have them bring pineapple next time.
The Hazy IPA is just what people are digging these days. It's taken over grocery sales. And when I say grocery sales, I mean independent store sales, all those.
And for those of you who are listening that aren't from Montana, it may be a little bit odd. We sell our beer at grocery stores and gas stations.
Yeah.
So it's easier to get. We realize we're pampered in that respect because you can travel to other places, go into their gas station to grab a 6-pack of beer. You can't find any beer.
It is shocking.
Sell it
Yeah.
at their gas station.
Grew up in Wisconsin, so you can buy beer at church pretty much. And go places that don't do that, and it's government owned, and I have to go to an ABC liquor store or vice versa, and I am just...
It's unnerving, but the nice thing is, like in Canada, our friends in Canada, that if you're listening, we know you don't sell your beer at your gas stations, and you definitely know a Montanan in a gas station because they're searching the coolers.
They're
they
looking
keep
for beer.
looking. They're like, "You're looking for beer," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're in Canada. You gotta go to the liquor store." And we're like, "Oh yeah, forgot."
Well, wait, is it Idaho that you can't, or is it Utah,
So
where you can only sell beer less than an...
that's Utah.
Utah. We're in Utah. We go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Just want to have an afternoon beer.
It's
You
odd.
can't just order beer. You have to order food with it. And we
Yeah.
didn't know that. Like, can you just give us the cheapest thing on the menu? And the guy's looking at us like, these guys are rough characters. I'm like, no, it's just been...
We're dangerous when they come
We're
to
crazy.
Utah.
Like Montana has laws. If you have a brewery, you cannot serve beer. Utah, if you're gonna have a brewery, you have to serve beer. So that's the difference between the two.
Yeah, the laws are
Different.
The laws are crazy. I could go all day talking about laws. But Hazy IPA, we won a bronze in the IPA category. That was really a meaningful thing for us because that's a tough category.
Yeah.
That's the one where, everyone wants to win the gold in the IPA. There's no question. So we got bronze, and hopefully we can get gold next time.
Yeah. Well, just to have a placer,
Yeah.
We talk about, Olympics is this time of year.
Yeah.
Just being able to get to go to the Olympics is pretty big. I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't have to train for the Olympics. Like, you just get a letter in the mail and it says...
It's not jury duty.
This is what I want, though.
It's a random...
Yeah. Oh, I'm pole vault.
For the U.S.
And then that's how you know how fit your nation is. Not people who have trained their entire life to pole vault, but Rebecca Ingham,
I think
who drinks beer, is going to go pole vault for the USA.
that would be...
And you get 20...
I would watch that, but I don't know how the insurance liability or citizenship will look after that. If
Yeah.
you're gonna...
I think people would be nervous, You'd be sitting there in June hoping you don't get the letter.
A lot of people are gonna be breaking their own ankles. Like,
I mean, what happens if I'm swimming? Are you kidding me?
But that would make it fun to watch.
or fun to watch people die. Yes.
They're not going to die. They've got enough people there to make sure it doesn't go badly.
Oh.
So what else did you win? You entered 3 beers.
Yeah, gold in the Hefeweizen, silver in the Scotch. They didn't give a gold.
Oh.
So I've got to throw that out there because I don't want anyone thinking we got second place.
You got the first place.
We did. I think I may be mistaken. They may have given 2 silvers. I don't know who the other brewery was. And then the IPA, we had the bronze. So that was very exciting for our team and for us, you know.
Well, it's a huge honor because it's not easy to brew a beer.
Well, I mean,
Edible beer.
there's a lot of beer being made, and I think what's great about Montana, for any of you listeners out there thinking about coming to Montana, specifically Great Falls, Montana's beer is, you know, it's right at the top.
It's good damn beer.
It is.
I've not really drank much beer that I didn't like.
Yeah, Montana beer is...
I do like other beers more than some.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. There's a lot of beer out there. Everybody's tastes are different. And, you know, you'd like to be all a cool cat and just be like, yeah, I don't care about the awards. But it does feel nice to get that little medal from the trophy store. I mean, it does.
It's good recognition that what you're doing, people love.
Yeah.
And that it's being done well.
Yeah. Well, and you put so much, like anybody who's ever been in business or has family in business, you know this. It takes everything you have. You put all your heart and soul into it. In my case, with my wife, Catherine, or Katie, whatever you want. She likes to be called Catherine. I call her Katie.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Catherine.
Catherine.
It's okay. She's
that.
wonderful.
In the show notes.
She knows, like, it is 24/7 all the time. We are worried and planning and strategizing and thinking, like, what if this happens? Can we do this? Can we make this happen? It's all encompassing. And so...
And it's such an important factor in any business to have that support system. Because if you go into business and your partner in life thinks it's crazy and doesn't want to support you...
Yeah.
You're doomed for failure.
I can't even imagine that. Yeah, and that's what it is. And so, you know, luckily, Katie and I have amazing support. But it's, at least for us, it's everything. We put everything into it. And so to get a little medal, you'd like to, like I say, you'd like to be the cool guy and be like, yeah, I don't really care about medals. But you find yourself going home at night and going, yeah, that really actually felt killer. And hey, anybody out there, you want to start a brewery, I'm just going to tell you right now, it's way more work than you think it's going to be.
But the business model, fairly straightforward. You brew beer.
Yeah.
And then you drink it?
Somebody picks it up.
You got to sell it.
Yeah.
Okay.
A distributor in this matter picks up the beer from where you brew it, puts it in places people buy it.
Yeah, well,
then you brew more beer.
There's different business models. I mean, that's what we do. We produce beer, we package beer, we sell it to a distributor. A distributor takes it to the marketplace. Tap room. There's the tap room model, and that's an awesome model as well. I mean, that's a totally different thing. You're making beer in your building. You're inviting people in. Maybe serving them some pizza or peanuts or whatever.
So those listeners that have been with us long enough, Mighty Mo Brew Company has a tap room.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great business model too. I mean, that's a great way to do it. I'm actually hoping that someday in time I'll have both of those going. I happen to own a licensed bar in another state. Where I actually buy back my beer. I actually sell
You're your own customer.
Yes. I sell my beer to the distributor, and then the distributor drives over to the bar I own and sells it back to me.
Well, that's a middleman you didn't need.
Yeah. So if we could...
Those are the laws.
But that's what the law says we must do.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, I believe that would be called bootlegging.
Oh.
Which we have some good history in our community. We have
Wow.
bootlegging, but we are more rule followers today.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's how we do business, and it is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's the whole keep it simple theory, like with the brand. Let's not try to make it so confusing to anyone. Someone told me 70% of supermarket shoppers are females between the age of, like, I don't know the exact number, but it was in the 50s. And so if you just think about that, like 7 out of 10 people who are going to go into that beer section are female in their 50s. Let's consider that person with our branding. Well, I'm not saying our branding is perfect for them, but let's make sure we don't confuse people. So, that's a thought I always have too.
I wonder what it's like now that you can have the drive up, pick up, delivery. Because I'm not going to the grocery store ever again in my life. My husband still goes.
Beer delivery is big. I mean, in other states, there's these national outlets, and we're listed on a few of them now. We haven't really dug into that, but where you'd be sitting in your your loft in Manhattan, and I'm sure it's a pain in the ass to get beer there. And so you're just like chilling out and
wishing you had a beer.
And you can hop on your iPhone and order a 6-pack of your favorite craft beer. I don't know if that will work. I think in time it will work, but right now the economics of that seem funny to me. It's really expensive.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I'm going to tell you, listeners, I had the Golden Bobcat Pale Ale because I am an MSU graduate, and I drink Jeremiah's other beer, but Bobcat is my favorite. Mm-hmm. And the reason I love the Pale Ale, and this is going to sound awful, again, I appreciate all microbrews, but this is just such a smooth, easy drinking, almost non-micro beer. Like, it's micro, but it's not as micro as other micros.
Does that make sense to anyone? To me?
It should.
Okay.
Well, when we made that beer, we wanted to make a beer, we had a branding minute with some people. What are we trying to accomplish? Well, we want to celebrate Montana State University. I am an alum of Montana State University. They came to us, wanted to have this beer. I think at first it was just like, let's have some kegs, but we're like, no, let's do this whole package deal. We created this killer look. Looks like an old collegiate sweater, I think.
It does, with the 3 stripes on the bottom.
Yeah,
that could be at the end of a...
Totally. And then we're like, we want to have it be a legit Montana craft beer. So we use local honey. We wanted it to be that craft beer. We didn't just want it to be, similar to generic beer light. But we also wanted to envision that this is something that you're going to have in your cooler at the tailgate on Saturday morning. It might be 9 a.m. And I want you to responsibly maybe crush 3 or 4 of those before you go into the game.
Right.
So,
and if you're drinking beer at 9 a.m., it can't be too heavy, and it's not too heavy.
You got a whole day ahead. You got to stay light on your feet.
Yeah.
So that was a fun product to make, and hopefully we'll make it for the rest of the time.
I had the Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company Blonde Ale, which is alcohol beverage volume
5.4.
I was just questioning the abbreviation. And then IBU of 30. So if you're an avid beer drinker and you know the IBU ratings, it's a 30.
0 to 100 is
the scale.
Once in a while you see over 100, but I don't get that because it's really to 100.
Well, that's like saying someone gives 110%.
You can't.
That's
well,
true. You really
technically
can't.
You can. If you're an 8 to 5 worker and you work till 9, that's given more than you need to.
Maybe. Yep.
But
maybe.
that's called overtime, not 110%.
That's overtime. You're on a different
salary,
The IBU's 30. So for a blonde ale, it's got a little hop bitterness to it. Saws hops in that beer. German.
It's good. It's another easy drink.
It's good.
Yeah, it's a refreshing drink on a 95-degree day in a brewery in downtown.
Here's the deal. It's going to get hotter this week.
I know.
So
yep.
enjoy responsibly and get near water is all I have to say. And Jeremiah is drinking the award-winning Hazy Ipa.
Yep, this was canned this morning, so it's his quality control, making sure what we're putting out's going to taste good right for the people. Yep. It's good. I think people will enjoy this. They'll buy it, and they'll like it, and they'll probably say, wow, that's a good one.
I have enjoyed it. I have also enjoyed the Citra IPA. I have mentioned I sipped the Mountain Man. May have to give it another shot. Didn't go well the first time.
Got to be cautious.
But it's not for lack of trying.
So Jeremiah, next time we have you on the podcast, it'll probably be in our studio, so I can have some quality control on this equipment.
Hey,
But-
you guys tell me where to be and when to be there, and
what to bring. And
yeah,
Dealer's choice next time.
exactly. I want to thank you for being on the podcast. And if you are new to the podcast and just listening to this because you drink Jeremiah Johnson Brewing Company beer and you're new to Great Falls, this is where he brews it. And he's sometimes walking around empty pints. So if you see a mountain man there, that is Jeremiah Johnson. If you have
He
any,
looks like the dude on the can.
exactly. And he does have the shades with it too.
yeah. I try to wear the shades too.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions about our episode or want to find more information, a complete listing of our episodes is at we'renodamnexperts.com. Questions, send them over to me. Information at visitgreatfalls.org. Or just give me a call, 406-761-4436.
We are the only podcast that'll answer your phone call.
Not live, because
I
that's
don't-
not a thing.
right. Not yet.
And then Jeremiah Johnson Brewing, that's where his social handles are. We're going to be linking his website and where you can get his beer here in town on our show notes. So thanks again, Jeremiah.
Thank you guys. Loved it.
So until we see your bright, smiling face here in Great Falls, we hope you are creating amazing memories with your family wherever the road takes you. And we just hope that road takes you to Great Falls, Montana. We will see you soon.
Bye-bye.
We Are No Damn Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town. Damn, that felt good.
On the next episode of We're No Damn Experts, we're going to tell you where you can fall off a cliff, where you cannot fall off a cliff, and how to float the White Cliffs. We're No Damn Experts was produced by Great Falls, Montana Tourism with original music from the best damn musician, Joel Corda.